Welcome to ScreenVomit, your fave movie podcast. I am Kayla, here with my co-host, Collie Bates.
Hello.
Collie Bates classically asked me to call him Collie J, and I refuse.
I ask one thing and they're just like, no. This is ScreenVomit Live on Ice.
Yeah, ScreenVomit Live on Ice as we are recording in person with each other. Don't tell.
I don't like this. I'm used to not looking at you when I talk.
It's okay. We can still stare off into the distance.
Should we look at each other?
No.
Okay.
That's weird. Collin had scooted his chair to be facing me in the eyes. No, thank you. So yeah, we're strange today. We're getting weird. Nothing's new here, I guess.
Nope, nothing new at all. Just having someone look at me when I... Oh man, you get to see all the shiftings and... You get to hear it's like when I was in the closet. It was just, all the moves. You just get to see them live on
TBT
ice now.
Being in the closet.
Oh, the closet. Yeah, we're recording in a sunroom. I got boards. I'm looking at a cardinal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go. I got nothing else. I realized how much that sucked.
Yeah, we've classically only done one other episode face-to-face, and that was Gemini Man.
Yeah, that was... And it was also weird because we had to record because we were doing it on my phone because Lindsay took her computer, so we had to stop recording every 20 minutes.
I think it was every 8 minutes or something.
Every 8 minutes we had to restart a recording. Yeah, this is...
Gonna be better, hopefully.
Gemini Man was a great episode.
Yeah,
though.
it was.
Well, I don't hate this movie today either.
No, I don't.
What movie do we see?
The movie that we saw, good segue, was Horse Girl. When did this come out? I actually didn't write it down.
2019, is that?
Was it last year?
I mean, I've got the Wikipedia right here. 2020.
2020, so this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we picked Horse Girl, and I'm so excited to talk about this movie. So,
oh, yeah.
I guess let's run through the old cast real fast. So first of all, directed by Jeff Baena.
What has he done?
Who, he also co-wrote this, but he directed Little Hours, which we covered on the pod.
Oh, okay.
He I think, wrote and directed Little Hours, wrote and directed the movie Joshy, and he also wrote on I Heart Huckabees, which is one of my fave movies of all time.
I've never seen I Heart Huckabees.
Oh my god, you have to watch it, it's so good.
Give me a quick rundown, because I've only never seen it because of the title.
It's got Mark Wahlberg, it's got Lily Tomlin, it's got, who's the guy that did drag in the 80s for that one movie?
Did dragon... Oh, fucking... Dustin Hoffman?
Dustin Hoffman, yeah. And it's got, oh my god, I'm having such a... Jason Schwartzman, love him.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like a existentialist movie. It's like... Okay. It's really good. You should just watch it.
And
it's really good.
All about loving Mike Huckabee?
Nothing about that, no.
I don't want to see this shit.
You should watch it. It's a great film.
Okay.
Anyway, so he wrote on that, and I love that movie. So he's done some other stuff that's cool. So we're starring Alison Brie, who also co-wrote this movie with the director. And, Alison Brie, we know she was in Little Hours, which we did. She's in Glow. She's in Community. Mm-hmm. We have Molly Shannon, who was in Wild Nights with Emily that we did, and also in Little Hours.
Oh, yeah.
And, famously from SNL.
Yeah. Superstar.
Yeah, etc. And let's see, we have Matthew Gray Gubler, who is from Criminal Minds. I
hate this motherfucker. I think he's so smarmy looking.
He's funny.
He's in this?
Yeah. He's in the fake TV show.
Oh,
and then he has one scene in the actual real.
That's right.
We also in the fake TV show have Robin Tunnell from The Craft, and we have Dylan Jalula, who was in Her Smell, which we covered on the pod.
Okay.
She was in the other band that Stand Becky something or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
that's pretty much it.
Oh, we have a little small part from Lauren Weedman, who was also in Little Hours. So
her. Okay, yeah, the wife.
The Weed Man.
Weed man.
So yeah, we have basically a revival of the cast of Little Hours in this movie, and director and writer.
I mean, it makes sense. This movie does have. It doesn't. Never mind. It doesn't have Little Hours energy.
Not at all. I would say.
No, it really doesn't. So for cricket scores on this bad boy, we are looking at, from Rotten Tomatoes, we got a 71. From this is just a Metacritic, we got 61, and then Google users, our wild card, we got 52. So just like a slope down.
And I would say I disagree.
Here's my thing with this movie is for some reason I am able to understand that this is like this movie is subject to the viewer, and it totally depends on like because if I showed this to like my mom, like normies, not really.
Normies would hate.
Not really would like this movie.
Gotta be a freaky boy.
You gotta be a little freak, because like this is a weird movie. This is one of those movies where I have to constantly say to myself, like, trust the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to trust this movie that it's going to have a complete ending, and whether or not everything is explained, I have to accept that it is going to,
Yeah.
I'm just going to trust it,
Yeah. We should, let's watch the trailer.
Yeah.
So then we can get into it.
Happy birthday! So what are you gonna do tonight to celebrate?
I think probably I'll just go out with some friends from my Zumba class.
You deserve to have fun.
How have you been?
Been good. I've been going by to see Mom and going to see my horse.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
Brian's new roommate is single.
Hi.
I'm Darren. I really like your dress.
Like your shirt.
There's something so exciting about you. You're a lot of fun.
You deserve to have fun.
You're
Oh.
Sarah.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
And what is it that you're experiencing?
Been having a little trouble sleeping. Finding myself places and I don't know how I got there.
You have nothing to be afraid of.
Do you believe in alien abductions? People always said that my grandma was so crazy. Now I think that she wasn't crazy at all because I'm feeling it.
Sarah, do you know what happened to the wall? Those scratches?
How old was Grandma when she started acting like...
Why? Are you...
Sarah, put the phone down. Sarah, put the phone down.
I can hear the future. I'm just really scared. You're safe, I promise you.
This is crazy.
Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
Sarah.
I know that it sounds crazy, okay? I know it sounds really crazy, but it just feels really real.
So I would say for a movie called Horse Girl, this movie has almost nothing to do with horses.
No, not
and
really.
the horse plotline is almost irrelevant, I would say.
It is. Upon watching this, I remember being a little disappointed because I think the horse girl aesthetic is so funny.
It's such an aesthetic, yeah.
And like, it's so specific and almost tangible.
Yeah.
And how little they use that aesthetic is, I was just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's something else.
Yeah.
I was glad that there was something else going on because I was disappointed at the lack of horse girl in it.
I want to read the only thing I knew about the movie was like people had told me that I should watch it, and then this tiny synopsis. So I want to read this.
Go for it.
A socially awkward woman with a fondness for arts and crafts, horses, and supernatural crime shows. Finds her increasingly lucid dreams trickling into her waking life. I also cannot read.
It's okay.
What's the word?
Illiterate.
I am illiterate. I also don't know words, so Collin's here to help me out today.
I'm not reading the same thing you're reading, though.
And yet you're still helping. But so that's all I knew about this movie at all. So I feel like the title is almost a little deceiving.
It definitely is. And it's deceiving in the best way because it drew us in. It does lure you in because everyone who's like, oh, fuck yeah, horse girls. I would love a movie about horse girls.
I listened to an interview with the cast. The interview was from Kevin Smith. And he did not know what a horse girl was. Had never heard of it.
Makes sense. If you look at Kevin Smith, motherfucker's from New Jersey, and then he immediately went to Hollywood. There's no way he ever encountered a horse girl. Yeah. It's a very... Well, I feel like there are horse girls all over, because horses are you got horses and horses and up in New York. There's horses all over America. And so horse girls, where there are...
Horses are people too.
Where there are horses, there are horse girls. And for those of you who don't know, I guess people may not know what a horse girl is.
Oh god, do we have to explain horse girl?
Very
horse girl
briefly.
Is a very specific vibe.
Yeah. They love horses. Mm-hmm. They typically, I will say, have long hair. Yeah. They break that trope in this movie, which I remember being that doesn't make sense, because Alison Brie's got shoulder length hair.
Yeah. They're more homely in general.
Very, very homely. Denim dresses.
Denim dresses much?
Yeah. And guess what? The only thing they like is horses.
They're obsessed with horses. It's always they don't just think wow, if I think about a horse, that's neat. They're no, horses are my whole life. I'm going to draw horses in my notebook all day. I'm going to talk about my horse. I'm can't wait to get out of school so I can go brush my horse, or whatever you do with a horse.
When I was in grade school, there was a girl who, the main activity at recess was boys chase girls and then girls chase boys. Sorry, we were so gendered. Sorry.
Very hetero.
We were buying into the gender binary hard. But there was one girl who, when being chased and chasing, made horse noises.
Interesting.
Yeah. Everyone else was just ha 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 ha, gotcha. And she was just and then because horses are fast, I guess.
That's incredible. Also, speaking of that, do you know, when I was trying to do research for this movie, just Googling horse girl, half, maybe even 3/4 of everything that came up was that girl who was internet famous recently for running around like a horse, running around on all fours and jumping over.
Literally the second image, op-ed, I'm a recovering horse girl. I'm a horse girl now, dating a horse girl.
Alright, so like we're saying, this movie has almost nothing to do with horses. The horse plot even could have been entirely cut out of this, and it still would have been a perfectly tangible movie.
Totally coherent.
And I gotta say, I loved this movie, but
it was great. Yeah.
I feel like this movie is almost specifically tailored for me.
It very much is. No, this is a ScreenVomit. I can't believe I saw this months ago and didn't think to tell you about it.
Yeah, that's rude, honestly.
Pre-core, I think.
A bad friend, I would say.
Is what it is. But yeah, no, this totally fits this pod.
Yeah. I'd say, I think weird. Specifically me.
Yes. I don't know. The thing is, there wasn't enough queer content.
That's true.
For it to be tailored to you.
But before she met the one guy, she was not concerned with dating at all. So who knows?
Just like a horse girl. They did do an incredible job. I just really noticed this in the trailer. You know what Alison Brie looks like.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just really gorgeous. And they make her look about as homely as they can get.
Yeah.
As they could do with her.
She's got curly brown hair. She's got blue eyes.
She's got bags under her eyes.
Me.
Oh, okay. You don't have the bags, though. You got good... You don't have any eye bags.
I have pink hair right now, but naturally I have a curly brown hair.
You are curly. I forgot about that.
Very curly.
Yeah.
When I was a toddler, people called me Curly Sue. You won't remember who that was, but 80s kids remember who remember.
Ew, 80s kids seen GTFO. 90s or die.
I think Curly Sue might have even been earlier than 80s.
Ooh, 70s
like
kids 60s kids can die.
Or like Shirley Temple. People call me Shirley Temple. I was very cute and
that's
curly.
Such a stretch. You think there'd be more than one curly... They're like, oh, Shirley
The thing
Temple.
about curly hair is nobody was allowed to have it. And still, like, isn't really. Like, as far as, like, public figures, celebs and stuff go, everybody straightens their hair. When I was growing up, there was, like, nobody with curly hair. Nobody
you talking curly hair pride?
Yeah, I'm talking curly hair pride.
You know who...
I had to come out of the closet as a curly-haired person.
You know who... Okay, that is interesting. At least... Women, I cannot think of any. I can think of a good...
There's like Felicity, maybe, but
There's
even
a
she
lot
has
of
like
men.
a particular type of curly hair.
There's a lot of men because there's a good amount of Jewish people in
But
Hollywood.
also men are allowed to look how they want. And women
Exactly.
aren't.
So I'm thinking of like Jeff Goldblum, who...
Wait, Jeff Goldblum has curly hair?
Think Jurassic Park. Think Jurassic Park. And like Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Um,
Howard Stern.
Freaking Jonah Hill.
Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park was more like a wavy.
Oh, it's
like,
more wavy. Okay.
But either way, like, if you watch older movies, if you go back, like, 80s movies,
oh, totally.
even 70s, like, people were allowed to have whatever their hair was, like, and they're just not really.
Yeah.
It's coming more back now, but for a
Totally.
long time, it was like, no, your hair has to be, first of all, silky smooth. It has to be straight as ice, or
That's
you're allowed to
still
have
the way it
like
is.
a very manicured like beach wave
Yeah.
now, like that you have to like get from a salon.
That's still how it is. Literally, I'm scrolling through an article called "Celebrities with Curly Hair Rarely Show Their Curls," and it's like, oh yeah, Cardi B and all of the Kerry Washington, all of these actresses of color who, fucking, of course they don't show their curls because it's Hollywood, baby. It's white supremacy.
And most curly-haired people like have like frizz. Like it's not those perfect like ringlets.
No.
Like so if you have frizz,
know.
that's like considered bad. So me growing up had frizzy as fuck hair, frizzy curly hair, and was like, I'm a disaster. Nobody's like me. And like cut to like a cheerleader in 8th grade being like, have you ever tried Pantene Pro V?
Yeah, have you?
It makes your hair smooth. No, dude, my hair is just curly and frizzy. It doesn't really matter what happens, you know?
That's why it rules growing up.
Yeah, I love it.
White male with straight brown hair. I had idols everywhere.
Yeah.
I could choose whoever I wanted.
I was just like, I'm ugly until I was like 27 and learned how to fuck with curly hair. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, how did we even get here? I have no idea.
Because
Alison Brie.
curly hair.
I would say also, as far as Alison Brie goes, I don't always love her.
Agreed.
But I loved her in this movie.
This was a big thing for me because the last thing I watched with her was maybe Glow, which I did not care for.
Really?
And I was like, because it was before that it was like Community, which like I like her character in Community enough, but I was starting to feel like I think her personal image was kind of starting to fuck with my perception of her.
Because you hate her personal image.
I
Because
think
I do
she's
too.
a little obnoxious.
I do too.
Her and Dave Franco, I'm just like, I don't
I hope
care.
she's not listening to this. I don't want to be rude.
No. She's way too fucking, like, self-absorbed to listen to this.
Yeah, she's pretty self-absorbed seeming and also really, like, fake seeming.
Totally.
And that, like, I can't. I just fake people.
So this was huge, because going in, I was like, an Alison Brie movie, but credit where credit is due, she puts in an incredible performance in this. She is truly, like, she becomes, what's this character's name? Sarah?
I have no idea.
Sarah, it is.
Did not write it down one time.
Sarah, very horse girl name.
Yeah.
She does a great portrayal of this really awkward, you feel bad. It's like, they do a good job of making you feel bad for this girl, who just lives an aggressively normal existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is, like, very boring.
She, like, works at, like, Joanne Fabrics, but what do they call it in here? Great Lengths.
But
it's funny because it is Joanne Fabrics, and her coworker Molly Shannon's name is Joan, so it looks like Joanne.
It adds up, yeah. Great lengths. I get it. Because they're gonna have great lengths of fabric.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, should say that all the dialogue in this movie was improvised.
Cool. This felt very mumblecore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the director's thing, is that he loves to have improvised dialogue. So I listened to some interviews with them, and he says it's like because he wants the dialogue to seem like how you would talk in real life or whatever. So that's why he makes it all improvised. But one could argue, if you're a good writer, you write like how people talk.
Agreed.
So personally, I feel like that's kind of a lazy way out. And also, like, I mean, when you write things, then you like have the chance to like hone, and that's when you get like movies with really like quotable, like, deep lines sometimes or stuff like that. Like, you're not gonna get that on an improv.
Disagree.
Okay.
Because I get back to this, but I just watched fucking Spinal Tap.
Okay.
And that's all improvised.
Yeah. Well, that's different.
It is different.
That's way different.
It is.
Spinal Tap will never happen again.
No. You
there's no
can't.
way.
It is possible. You can't do it though. No, but this is like also the producers, the Duplass brothers, Jay and Mark. They do all of that kind of stuff for their movies. You just write the story and then have the actors improvise it, which is it's nice. I like it, and it does give it, especially for this movie, it works really well because they are completely juxtaposing, like almost the crux of the movie is like, what if a really normal person had crazy stuff going on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like, what if we made the dialogue so normal? And it is. The dialogue is very much just like listening to your friends talk with stutters and startovers and stuff. Yeah, I think it serves the movie well.
It's fine.
Okay.
So, this chick... Yeah, basically her day-to-day is she works at Joanne Fabrics, a.k.a. Great Lengths. She comes home and watches a crime
Supernatural.
show. Yes. Do you remember what it was called?
Oh,
it's called Purgatory.
Yeah, it's Supernatural.
It's like basically like an X-Files type of deal, sort of, but it has the guy from Criminal Minds in it, and she's obsessed with the show. That's pretty much her day-to-day. She goes to work, comes home and watches the show.
She is...
Oh, and she goes to visit her horse every once in a while that's, like, not her horse anymore.
It's weird.
The horse thing is weird, yeah.
I appreciate it because it does serve her character well. So basically the horse thing is, like, she's going to these stables to visit this horse, but it's very... The owners are like, someone else is coming to ride her today.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's her horse. I think it's like...
It is not anymore.
It used to be her horse, and then she sold it or something, but she still comes to, like, look at it every day.
Yeah, and they're, like, nice enough to let her, like, comb it and give it bows in its hair.
That they immediately take out later.
Yeah, but they're very, like, please stop coming. We're not
Yeah.
mean enough to actually explicitly tell you to stop coming.
Yeah.
It just contributes to her character in the sense that, like, she is weird. That's it. Like, she's a
little weird. Yeah, that's all.
I mean, I think their intention, and in the Wikipedia, they use the terms mental illness a lot, and it's not defined. The movie leaves it up to you. They never explicitly tell you.
I think they kind of get there.
Well,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But, like... It's to contribute to that, to show that she has attachment issues. That's what I was looking for. She has attachment issues. And that's also shown by her visiting her mom's grave, which I don't think is actually attachment issues. You can visit your mom's grave as much as you want.
Yeah.
But I think the horse thing...
Also, her mom just died. That's, like, not weird.
Not weird at all.
Yeah.
But going to the horse over and over does serve to be, like, a normal person would have gotten the gist by now to stop showing up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, it doesn't serve.
Because she just hangs around and, like, be's weird and, like, is, like, micromanaging the girl who has her horse now.
Yeah.
When you ride like this, like, it's not good for the horse, or, like, whatever.
Just attachment issues, totally.
So basically, she starts having crazy dreams that are very vivid.
Like night terrors, almost.
And, like, sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how it's also tailor-made for me.
Do you sleepwalk?
I've sleptwalked before, but I do mainly just in the dream sense. Like, me and Collin have been talking about this today because, behind the scenes, I stayed at Collin's house last night and I had about 35 dreams and have been telling Collin about them all day.
I don't care.
Collin could give a shit.
I just want to drink my coffee.
But I've always been a person who has, like, really intense dreams that feel like real life that I almost can't discern from reality a lot of the times, and that's what's happening to this person in the movie. And
totally.
Let's see. I mean, I've done a lot of weird shit in my sleep besides sleepwalk, but I remember one time I was a kid. We had I might have been in like 3rd grade or something, and we had just gotten a new thing of hand soap for the bathroom. I just knew that we had just gotten a brand new one, and I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning, the hand soap's gone. It's, like, empty. And I was like, Mom, what happened to all this soap? Like, we had a full thing of soap the other day. And she was like, oh, yeah, I came in the bathroom in the middle of the night, and you were in here, like, drinking it and, like, putting it all over your body. And she did not stop me. And
what?
And so that was one time that I sleptwalked. But I have also, like, when I was a kid also, you have a bunch of sleepovers when you're a kid, especially,
totally.
Like, when you're raised as a girl or whatever. Sleepovers all the time. My friends would not sleep in the bed with me because I would beat their ass in my sleep.
What?
I would, like, kick people, punch people. Like, in my sleep, I have no memory of it. And they would be like, yeah, you kicked the shit out of me, so I got out of bed. What else? Like, I've dated people who were like, yeah, I, like, stayed up later than you and, like, you were, like, vibrating in your sleep.
Do you...
And I don't have any memories of these things, but I do them.
How do you treat things with your sleep?
What do you mean?
Is there a way, like...
To stop doing that?
Yeah. Or, like, mitigate
Well, I think
things.
for me, it's usually, like, my sleep gets worse when my stress gets worse.
Okay.
So, like... I forget, there's like a term for it, but I clench in my sleep, my jaw.
Oh, okay.
But then I'll have a dream that, like, I'm trying to open my mouth and I can't open my mouth, and I know I'm clenching.
Yeah.
And I wake up with a sore jaw for a day.
Jesus.
But that's, like, that stuff happens more when I'm stressed out. So if I
Okay.
can ease up the stress, then I can fix the sleep.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I don't know what other people do. I know, like, Mike Birbiglia famously has, like, a sleepwalking disorder where, like, didn't he, like, jump out of a second-story window?
Fucking clue.
He, like, jumped out of a second-story window one time and, like, broke his ankle or something when he was, like, asleep.
Yeah.
So he sleeps with, like, mittens on and in, like, a sleeping bag that, like, holds him in that his wife has to zip up for him every night. Because or else he'll get up and, like, he could do shit in his sleep and, like, not know, you know?
The fucking Dracula looking mother. Not looking, but it's basically what happens to Dracula.
He has, like, a whole comedy special about it on Netflix, I think.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I've had zero... I mean, I struggled to sleep as a teen, and that was it. So I just have no idea for how, like, looking at Sarah, this character, what do you do when you start...
Having weird dreams?
Having weird fucking dreams, and, like, you wake up to... Are her knuckles bruised at all, or like, because there's like scratches on the wall, like we saw.
I don't
in the
think it
trailer.
ever showed her hands, because I don't think at that point she had connected that I'm the one getting up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's like the first time that we see her up in the middle of the night is like the boyfriend got up to like get a glass of water or something,
Oh,
and then
she was just standing.
turns around and she's just standing there.
Yeah.
And then like kind of wakes up and goes back to bed or whatever.
Yeah.
So nothing weird happens the first time.
Okay.
And then we see the scratch marks on the wall, and she's just like, weird, like, where did those come from? I don't know, And then it, like, progresses to where, like, eventually she starts losing time. And, like, we get the one scene where it was, like, 11:04, and she goes to bed. And then she wakes up standing in the middle of the street, like, holding a payphone. And, like, no idea how she got there.
Yeah.
And gets all the way back home, walks all the way home, and it's 11:06. And she's like, that's not possible physically.
Yeah.
Or then there was, like, the one night where Her car goes missing. She thought her car was stolen.
Yeah, and it's impounded.
Yeah. But, like, she had previously mentioned how, like, the garage is locked. So, like, nobody would be able to get into the garage. And we saw, like, how she locks up her steering wheel every time. But then how is her car stolen and it's just in an impound. And they're like, we found it in the middle of the road with no gas or whatever.
And, like...
So it's like, okay, this is clearly, like, it's gotta be me. It's starting to click. It's me. You know? So...
I don't know. I would have just started searching for help much sooner.
Yeah.
And, like, her... I mean, like, just to... I think it does a good job. It serves her character well. The way she seeks help is to ask Joan. Mm-hmm. And in these vague, like, not telling her what's happening, but just
well, because I think also... And this actually goes into Alison Brie's real life, too, is, like... Her mind state is she knew that her grandmother had mental illness. Mm-hmm. And her mother also had depression and committed suicide. Mm-hmm. So she has, like, this great fear that, like, what if that is happening to me? And, like, kind of where, like, you can't trust your own reality because what if you're crazy like your family? You know, what if you've caught it or whatever? So her, in real life, grandma was a paranoid schizophrenic. Alison Brie's real grandma. That's kind of what they brought into this movie, too. Because even, like, some of the stuff, like, some of the symptoms they give to her grandmother in the movie are, like, paranoid schizophrenic characteristics. Or, like, she wouldn't trust anybody, or, she, you know, she thinks people are watching her, or, you know, blah, 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 stuff like that. Also, in real life, my great-grandmother had Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And so I also am just waiting for the day when I come down with Alzheimer's.
I am so terrified of dementia, Alzheimer's, I'm just terrified of getting old. That's my big fear.
The age of getting old doesn't really concern me. The body deteriorating.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid
because
of.
I already have a lot of issues.
That's why I fucking do yoga. That's literally, I'm just like, I'm going to fight off physical
I already need, like, multiple
aging.
Surgeries that I can't afford.
Terrifying.
So yeah, that's gonna get worse and worse. Yeah, my family is, like, half and half. Like, either we live to be, like, 100 years old, or we die at 40. You know, so it's like...
I mean, that's good to know, though. Once you hit, like, 50, you're just like... I'm halfway there.
Yeah. My mom died, like, 2 months before her 50th birthday, so...
Never mind, you gotta hit, like, 51.
So, yeah, it could go either way. But, yeah, my great-grandma had Alzheimer's, and I feel like it's gonna hit me, because I already have a lot of memory issues anyway.
See, like, mine is... I'll get prostate cancer. Like, everyone has that, and that's... Everyone on my dad's side... And that's super treatable, and like that's not a really big worry for me. So, looking back at the movie too, though, like, I can't imagine, even for you, the terror that would come with, like, a severe mental illness that has been...
And, like, schizophrenia is also one of those disorders that doesn't hit you until, like, midlife or whatever. Yeah. So you can be totally normal up till then, and then suddenly you're, like, totally wild.
Just hearing things and seeing things. And that's what I mean when I talk earlier about, like, trusting the movie, is because it just never, you are never given that. Because you don't want it to
turn into, like, okay, yeah, crazy people are scary, whatever.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's a fine line to do where you are portraying it, but not, like, making a caricature out of it.
Not, like, stigmatizing it.
Yeah. It really does a pretty solid job of making it... Like, you just feel her anxiety about it. You're not like, oh, what a cuckoo bird.
Right.
You're like, oh my god, what if it... Either case sucks. If it's aliens, Jesus Christ. If it's your mental health, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know which is worse.
If it's both, hey, it's a party.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So, yeah, so I just thought that was kind of like... The way they put it into the movie is really interesting. And yeah, that's why she's, like, so afraid to, like, seek help, is she doesn't want it to be true. She doesn't want to be, like, going crazy like her grandma did.
Yeah, it's that whole thing, for me it's the mechanic, for other people it's the doctor. It's like, don't go because then it's diagnosed.
Yeah.
Then you don't have something until you're told you have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you never have to fuck with it, then you just live with it.
Then you're healthy and normal.
Exactly.
If you never go to the doctor, you will always be healthy and normal.
Then you're never sick, because no one will ever tell you you're sick, yeah.
Hell yeah. So we've, let's see, we've approached this movie in such a way. Where do we go from here?
Nowhere. We have not.
But we've kind of covered a lot of things, just not like in order. We're kind of going more by theme, which is still cool.
We should bring up the boyfriend a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because he contributes later.
Yeah, so she gets set up on a date by her roommate.
Her roommate is like a college hottie.
Yeah, a college hottie. It's a classic college hottie.
And
College hottie.
Did they explain how they room together? Because the whole time I was like, this is what's unreal about this movie, is that these two people would ever room together.
No, she never. I don't think they ever get into
It's
it.
fair, but whatever.
What if it's like a housing situation? If they are in college or like met in college or whatever, like it could be like a random roomie sitch.
It could happen. It's a Spinal Tap thing. It could happen, but it will never happen.
Yeah, so that person sets her up on a date with her boyfriend's roommate.
Friend. Yeah,
roommate.
Sure.
And her boyfriend is a white rapper, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was so good. And he called his album Baker's Dozen because it had 12 tracks.
The 13, right?
It only had 12 tracks.
Yes!
That was like the whole thing.
That's the joke, yeah.
The other guy's like, so are you adding a track? And he's like, no, it's 12 tracks. It's a Baker's Dozen. And he's like, they call it a Baker's Dozen because you get a free donut or whatever because that's a Baker's... And they're like, where gives you a free donut? Oh, that was a great gag. Him just like... she's like, honey, play your tracks. And he's just in there, like, rapping his terrible white raps. Oh, my God. Okay, that was a great scene. And the dancing, oh, my God. When Alison Brie and her little boyfriend start dancing, I died. It was awesome.
Because they get, like, stoned and drunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
She knows this character. Because she... dances like her character would dance.
It was incredible. It was almost on par with the one Friday the 13th. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue. What do you mean the dancing from Friday the 13th?
Okay.
The first one? The movie?
We're going to have to pause to watch this dancing video and I'll post a link to it. Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Okay, I never watched this one. It's Crispin Glover, though.
Yeah, and this is incredible.
Okay.
Okay, so do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The greatest dance scene of all time in any movie.
Yeah, that's better than Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, it's better than anything. It's so entertaining.
I'm still having these freaking burps.
Yeah. For those who can hear Collin blowing air every 5 minutes, blowing away his Zevia soda burps.
And it's not just Zeev, it's also the gravy from our biscuits and gravy breakfast.
Oh, we love that. So, the dancing was incredible.
Yes. Okay. That's all.
And so then they are gonna date. They're gonna date. He thought she was cool. She thought he was cool. Even though he talked about his ex for like the whole night. Yeah,
that's another thing is like, he is not entertaining or engaging at all. He like sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's clear that she doesn't get a lot of chance, like, talk to a lot of guys, because she's like, oh my god, he talked to me. What a hottie, what a hunk. And it's like,
yeah,
he didn't do shit.
No, he actually was very regular and boring and almost a little shitty.
Yeah, no, totally shitty. He gets drunk and is just like, yeah, I'm not in love with her anymore. And it's like, that's the one thing you do not talk about when you're like on a first date, quote unquote.
Yeah. One thing we didn't mention was when she goes to visit, like, the special needs girl or whatever.
Oh, her old friend.
Her old friend. And that was, like, such a random,
yeah,
like, insert. I feel like the whole horse part of this movie is kind of random, but they randomly, like, show her going to visit this girl who, like, is physically handicapped.
Yeah.
And probably a little mentally as well. But so then later we get, like, a cutback. What do you call that? Like a memory scene or whatever.
A memory, yeah, that's what it is.
We get a memory of, like, it's like, even that is so vague. It just looks like she falls off the horse and she's like, Megan! Or, like, whatever her name was.
Yeah, they don't, again, like, trust this movie. It doesn't tell you anything outright. It just is like, here's what happens.
They're kind of implying that the two girls, like her and this girl, were riding horses together, and then this girl fell off and had some, like, got stomped on by a horse or something. Yeah. And that's why she no longer has the horse, and I don't know.
yeah, that's about right.
We just didn't need it, I don't feel, so.
It just shows how, like, normal that Sarah was.
It's very normal to have a friend fall off a horse and get trampled on.
I don't know.
Permanently handicapped by it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just showing trauma. I don't know. You're right. It didn't really need to be done.
You know what? My best friend in 6th grade was stepped on by a horse. That's true.
Oh, shit.
On her chest. And she had the craziest bruise I've ever seen on her chest. But she was fine. Huh. She's big boned, you know what I'm saying? So, she had a little extra cushion for that horse.
Jesus. Okay.
Anyway, okay, so what else do we need to say about the boyfriend right now? I mean, he comes back in later.
That's
so.
what I thought we should just, like, hit on because we were...
Another part of the dreams that we didn't mention, and this is, like, maybe part of when she starts thinking this could be, like, a paranormal thing.
Yeah.
Is when she's going to sleep and she's like, God, my roommate's being so loud. They're, like, talking all night. And then finds out the roommate wasn't even home.
Totally, yeah. She really starts experiencing auditory hallucinations first.
Yeah, and then so it was like a combination of that and then the weird time thing that we mentioned, to where then she's like Googling what causes this time-lapse thing. And she says it in the movie too, like, I didn't think it was, some people said carbon monoxide poisoning, and I don't think it's that. And the other thing is aliens. So it's clearly aliens. So she's getting more and more into this alien thing. She's getting into, like, the clone thing. So, like, she has a picture of her great-grandma where she looks exactly like her great-grandma. Or no, it's her regular grandma, not great-grandma. I'm projecting it onto myself because...
It's an old-timey photo of Alison Brie.
I have a great-grandma thing, and that's how I relate to the movie.
Oh my God.
My great-grandma had, Alzheimer's. I look just like my great-grandma. I have blue eyes, and nobody else in my family has blue eyes except my great-grandma. And I also took my great-grandma's last name. So. Wow.
The only thing I know about my great-grandma is she was Italian.
My great-grandma was Irish. I know a lot about her, actually.
Okay.
It's actually, she has a crazy life story. She was Irish.
You want to pop off?
She was Irish. She came over here with her Irish husband, and they had 7 kids, and then her husband was like, actually, I'm going to go be like a train hopper guy. He was a coal miner before that. And then was like, I'm going to go hop trains and, like, be a hobo or whatever. That's what they called them back then.
Back when you could just leave your wife with 7 kids.
Yeah, so obviously this is, like, the 40s or whatever. So, like, women didn't really have jobs. And it was, like, really tough. Like, all the kids had to, like, drop out of school and get jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then one day the husband came back, like, years later. And he just, like, shows up and is like, honey, I'm home, And her son shot him to death. Because he was so pissed about what he did.
That's fair. You know what? I was about to say that your great-grandpa sounds like a badass. But he did get his...
So, yeah.
Like, that's what's justified.
He got what was coming to him, I guess.
Yeah, if you're going to abandon your family for more than, like, 5 years, I guess that's the cutoff point.
With 7 kids.
For 7 kids. If you come back,
when women, like, don't have job, like, back then.
Yeah, I mean, even today, if I left Lindsay with 7 kids, they would deserve to kill me when I came back. That's, like, my dying words would be like, that's fine.
I deserve this. Yeah. But, yeah, so I took my great-grandma's maiden name when I changed my last name. But, she was kind of known to be like this strong, like gregarious, like boisterous, funny woman.
Yeah.
With like one of like the most famous lines my mom always told me that my great grandma would say would be like, "Do you have to push when you go poo?" If you have to push, you're not getting enough fiber.
Okay, so I
also love shitting.
This movie is about you. I get it. I see it now. I had not made the great grandmother connection, but now it's just like, oh yeah, you are your great grandma probably.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet her?
Well, I did, but here's the thing. She had Alzheimer's, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
And her Alzheimer's was so bad that she didn't talk for the last 10 years she was alive.
Oh, okay.
She just sat there, like, with her tongue hanging out, and, like, people would change her diaper. Like, she didn't talk at all. So I never, like, knew her like that. But, like, everybody always tells stories about her. Yeah. And there's, like, one of my aunts, like, wrote out her life story, like, about her and stuff. So yeah, I didn't get to know her like that, but I feel like she would have been pretty cool, and that's why she's probably the only cool member of my family.
That's why you latched on so hard, yes.
So, onions. Anyway, so I'm my great-grandmother. Alison Brie's character is her grandmother.
Yeah, this episode's just about your life.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Like, this movie was, like, made specifically for me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep this thread going then. Do you believe in alien abductions? I'm not going to start with aliens yet, because that's... yes, aliens exist.
Sure, yeah.
You believe in
I definitely
abductions?
believe aliens exist, for sure.
Yeah.
And while I wouldn't say I believe every story about alien abductions, no.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think probably people have been abducted before? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think aliens have abducted at all.
You don't think so?
No, I always refer back to the old canceled Neil deGrasse Tyson, who had a halfway decent quote about this, where he was like, picture like ants. Humans don't consider ants. We don't like give them any consideration because they're just so small and insignificant and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's like, what if aliens have come to Earth and been like, why would we even interact with these so underdeveloped creatures?
I for sure think aliens have been here, though.
And I think they have
didn't
too.
like CIA just release?
Yeah,
they've been releasing.
They're
shit.
trying to distract from anything going on in the world that the FBI or something is just like, aliens do exist. Here's proof. And everyone's like, we don't care now. But yeah, no, they definitely exist and have probably been here.
Yeah, I can at least like for sure agree on that much. Like whether or not alien abductions are real. They might be, they might not be. I guess it's kind of what I think.
If I'm wrong...
If somebody thought that they were abducted by aliens and really believed that, I would probably be like, okay,
I'd listen to them, yeah.
But I do think, absolutely, there are people who have said, I've been abducted by aliens and are completely lying and being insane.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yes, let me know.
So,
anyway.
Yeah. So she is starting to get this idea of being a clone in her mind. It's kind of a reach when they do it in the movie, because it's like, do you not know how your grandmother died?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a little weird because then you also think about, like, what was Alison Brie as a baby? Like,
True.
Was she ever young?
Does she remember her youth?
Yeah. It's interesting enough, but, like, I think they use the clone to kind of serve to show how unhinged she is and willing to grasp onto, like, any explanation for what's happening to her.
Because she's also like, I didn't have a father, I didn't have a grandfather.
What do you mean? There's just so...
And she's like, I look exactly like my grandmother.
She does look exactly like it, and I was...
Maybe she could be a clone.
I was willing to...
Does she think she's a clone, or does she think she is her grandmother? I think she thinks she is her grandmother.
I think she thinks she is her grandmother. Yeah, and that aliens, like, erased her memory or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so I think that... Like, I entertained it when I watched it, but I ultimately think that it doesn't... That's just her grasping on at answers, because I don't... If I were going through this shit... I would, especially with fucking time loss, I would just be like, I'll take anything that tells me what the fuck is happening.
Yeah. So also in her dream that she keeps having, we don't get to see like that much of it, but to her, it's really vivid and it feels scary, is what she says. And she definitely sees two people in her dream. She looks to her right, she sees a man. She looks to her left, she sees a woman. Yeah. And she ends up finding the man.
He's like a plumber.
Yeah, he's a plumber. And she, like... Oh my god, the scene, like, is so insane when, like, her stepdad is like, oh, here's some money for your birthday or whatever, and gives her, like, a fucking wad of hundreds, okay?
What the fuck?
How did I get that stepdad?
Where are my parents? Yeah, I would love to have, like, she gets a couple thousand.
Yeah, a couple $1,000 to buy yourself something nice for your birthday. Are you kidding me?
Check, please. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
I would love it.
Hello, Daddy.
Oh man, I can't wait for the next stimulus check.
Yeah. So yeah, he gives her a couple G's for her birthday, and then she finds the man from her dream, and she's like, do you remember me? He's like, no. And she's like, oh, what are you, plumber? I need some pipes. I need pipes. Like, come over.
Like, replace all of my pipes.
And just, like, generally says pipes. Like, that could be anything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Is like, hi, I'd like to hire you for the vaguest job.
Yeah.
Just come over and look at my pipes.
And then when the guy comes for the appointment, first of all, it's not the guy she wanted. But secondly, he has all the pipes that she needs. And he's in the floor, like, taking up pipes.
It is such an arduous job what he's doing. If what he's doing is what I think they were doing, which is replacing all the pipes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. You gotta turn water off. You have to, like, each individual pipe replace.
You probably have to get permits for that, too, I would think, for, like, how deep they were going.
Oh, hell,
like, if you're just replacing, like, the trap under your sink or something, then, like, whatever. But he's, like, literally dug up the floor and, like, is, like, in there.
They rent, like, yeah.
And they rent, yeah.
The roommate comes back and is like, we rent!
It's so insane. And she's just grilling this guy about the other guy from her dream.
Yeah.
Which is also creepy. It's like,
so unsettling.
Do you know where he lives? Do you know when he works? Does he work night shift, day shift? You know?
And it's just it's the most normal fucking people. Like, the plumber who she's after is just this normal looking dude. The guy who is there is like, everyone's normal as fuck. And she is just throwing it all into chaos, into a tornado of insanity.
You know what? Speaking of normal people too, we haven't talked about Molly Shannon's character.
No,
who I love.
Because her character is like, if you ever worked a job with someone who's like 45 to 50,
yeah,
like
who's working a retail job,
exactly, retail, or I'm thinking like the
movie
service
theater or something.
Yeah, like the restaurants I've worked where there's randomly been like a 50-year-old, and it's just like, okay.
I thought about that a lot, like, because there is also scenes of, like, Alison Brie's character at work with, like, a teenager, and she's like, oh, did you text that boy? Oh, what did you say to him? Or, like, whatever. And I was just thinking, like, you know, of, like, when I worked at a movie theater, and I was a teen and had, like, coworkers who were 50-year-old women or whatever, and, like, that's such a weird, like, how do you...
It's such a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, when I was working a pizza job at 19, and we had a couple 50-year-olds working there, and I remember I had no idea. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, one of them was a gym teacher who only worked here in the summer, and then the other was a woman who lived out of her car, and it was this weird, like, you get a job, you gotta get a job if you have to, but, like, it is such a mood, though. It's such like fucking, if you work that kind of job with someone who's like 40 years older than you.
And like how, I can't imagine like their perspective of like, I'm working the same job as like a bunch of teenagers and we're on the same level somehow, and like probably a teenager is also my boss. Like,
oh, without a doubt. Yeah. If we're talking like fast food too. Like, yeah.
Like how do you do that? It seems insane
we'll find
to me
out. You and I will be there. You and I will be at JCPenney.
Probably. I'm on that track right now, TBH. Anybody know a good job?
I literally offered you one today.
That's true. I would have to move states though. No, it's heating up in here, guys. So, there's also a running gag that's such a background thing, but I noticed it. Where whenever they're at Joanne or Great Lengths or whatever, whenever they're at Joanne's, the phone will ring and Molly Shannon will answer it off screen. She's like somewhere in the background. And this happens like 4 or 5 times in the movie. And she'll be like, hello? 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 And like nobody's on the phone. It happens so often in this movie.
Who's calling Joanne's?
Nobody's ever on the other line. It like happens like so many times. It's like,
aliens.
Hello? You know?
It's the aliens. They're trying to get in touch with Sarah.
I don't know, but it's like it's such a funny like background
totally,
gag.
yeah.
It's like, okay, Molly, you had your little shining moment in here. I see you, Molly, you little genius. And she is also like such like a sweet and caring friend. Like she seems like an old lady who would work at a craft store. And
Totally.
you know, like
she totally fills it out this role of like Molly Shannon definitely fills this role of like the 50-year-old.
She definitely fills this hole.
She fills this hole with her Joanne, with her great lengths.
Oh my god.
No, of just like she is sweet and like Alison Brie is always weird as fuck when they talk. And she is just sweet in response and like, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? Oh, like, you just gotta take it easy, blah, blah, blah.
You deserve to have a good time.
You deserve to have a good
like,
time. Yeah. And like, throughout all of these like progressive mental breaks, she never changes her demeanor.
Yeah, she's so sweet. Also, like, speaking of Alison Brie deserving to have a good time, when she's like, oh, I'm just gonna like go out with some friends from my Zumba class, and then she's like too shy to like ask anybody to hang.
I get it.
It was so cute.
I would be too scared to ask anyone at the Zumba class I went to hang out.
Yeah, it was a cute scene. Though.
I also thought it was cute that they referenced Zumba. Something that I don't think people do anymore.
I think they do actually.
Who's doing Zumba?
It's chicks, man. My mom used to force me to do Zumba video workouts when I was a kid.
Wow.
And yeah. You know how moms are. They always force you to go on diets and exercise.
My mom my mom did the diets and the exercise videos, and I would just watch her do them.
Because you're a man.
Yeah, so I didn't have to do
You were
them.
exempt from having to worry about your weight.
I already had muscles.
So, my weight was very closely policed growing up.
Good God. I'm sorry. We'll get into that next episode.
Yeah. Another layer of the onion. Anybody else have padlocks on their cabinets? No, just me? Cool.
You brought that up before. Never mind. We've peeled this layer.
Love that for me. So in the movie, eventually she actually gets to have a real date with the guy.
Yeah.
They go to dinner, they're like chatting, they're having a great time, and then she's like, what do you think about the paranormal?
And
he's like, sure, paranormal can be real.
Yeah.
Whatever, ha ha ha.
Something I've definitely said on like a date before.
Yeah, and you're just like, ha ha ha, ghosts, aliens?
Sure,
whatever.
Yeah.
We literally just said it a second ago. You believe in aliens? Sure, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But she goes like so deep, and she starts to get like really manic here, and like going really wild, and she's like, I have to take you somewhere. It's going to be such a fun surprise.
Yeah, like projects on him that because he has accepted and validated her feelings about the paranormal, that he must also be like, he'll believe everything.
Yeah.
Then. If he believes in, aliens, then he's definitely going to believe what I've got to show him.
Yeah, if he thinks that aliens could be real, he will definitely believe me when I tell him I am my dead grandmother and am being abducted by aliens.
The closest, for some reason, this just when I watched it, it reminded me of the time I was talking to a girl on Tinder a couple of years ago, and
wow, brag. Okay.
Yeah, not to brag. And she brought up, she was like, do you believe in conspiracy theories? And I was like, yeah, sure, like, I'll definitely entertain conspiracy theories. And she was like, yeah, the moon landing was absolutely fake. I 100% believe it, and you're an idiot if you think it wasn't fake. And I was like, oh man, okay, not these ones. She also firmly believed that Courtney killed Kurt, which is just based in sexism.
Yeah.
So that's a bullshit
and
one.
Sad, yeah. And I also, though, was kind of thinking about, this movie made me think about, like, when something crazy really does happen, how do we treat these people,
Totally.
Like, I just said that I believe in alien abductions, but if somebody came up to me and was like, lit up to by aliens and I'm missing time and be like, okay, cuckoo.
Yeah, we need to call someone. Yeah.
Do you have any friends or family we can contact? Like,
totally.
And so
it's
the same. Like, I think about this a lot with like, sorry, not to go in on Christianity, but like, because they believe that Jesus is coming back. Mm-hmm. But how many people have come and said, yeah, I'm Jesus reincarnated? And people are like, you're fucking crazy, dude.
I think about that all the time.
So, like,
yeah,
it's like we think these things could be real, but we'll never believe someone who says they are. So, like,
no.
It's just kind of, I don't know, makes you think.
I mean, what if God was one of us?
Just
a stranger on the bus.
Okay, you've already ragged on me like 3 times for quoting 90s tunes today. So this is honestly
but this is like a top tier one.
Okay, Chumbawamba is top tier, and I'm angry that you are suggesting that they're not.
Name one other Chumbawamba song.
You only need the one. It's the one that counts. I've listened to other Chumbawamba songs.
I'm sure you have.
Can't remember any.
Anarcho-punk days?
Yeah. So, okay, where are
anyway.
we? So she's like, I gotta take you somewhere, and takes him to the guy's house, and she's like, just look at this man eating dinner with his family.
Yeah!
You know what? Here's the other thing. In movies, people always have a dining table directly in front of a huge picture window.
Where are we right now? We are at a dining table. We're in a sunroom, not a dining room, but we are in front of 2 huge windows.
That is honestly insane. But okay, besides Collin's personal house, this is never like true in real life. Like, people have a huge dining table right in front of a huge picture window with no curtains or anything on it, and they eat with their family around the table. Oh my god.
No curtains in this room.
Take a pic of this fucking table. Honestly insane that I was just saying that, and we literally are sitting at a table in front of a picture window.
Yeah, rocks.
But so it's like people are just down to be spied on constantly.
Oh yeah.
So it's just
that's
like,
why we're here.
And they're always in front of the window too. It's like he could be in the shower. No, he's out there eating dinner in front of the window all day long. She's like, look at this man. Isn't this cool? This man's in my dream.
It's so
I'm a clone.
unsettling.
She's just like, what's it called? Like like snowballing, like getting more and more intense,
It gets really cringy around here. Not cringy in like the typical sense it's used right now, but like it's really tough to watch her on this date steadily being like spiraling down, and just you're like, oh, why are you showing your boyfriend the house of a stranger? Oh.
And then she's like, one more place.
No, and then this last place they go to is really where it's just like I said earlier, like you just feel for
you see the guy kind of like realizing, oh, I thought this chick was cool and fun, and she's insane actually.
Yes.
But he goes along with her to the second place too, to the cemetery.
Yep.
And that's where she's like, you're gaslighting me, or basically.
Yeah.
She's just like, you said you thought aliens were real, and now you think I'm crazy? That's not fair.
Well, because she starts saying that they need to dig up her mom so that they can compare DNA.
Yeah. It's the only way to test if she's a clone.
He's very understandably not on board with that.
And she wants to dig up her mom with, like, a knife from her purse or something.
It's not much. Yeah, it's really
looks like a letter opener. It doesn't even look like a knife.
There's nothing. And I just fucking read Pet Cemetery where they describe the burial process, and you have to have you have to have a shovel because there's, like, stone over the grave. Mm-hmm. She's not getting to that grave with just her knife and spoon. No,
like, even, just, like, digging a hole to, like, bury a plant is, like, pretty intense work.
Yeah!
It's, like, more intense than you think it will be.
You'd think, as manic as she is at this point, she'd be a little bit more planned out.
Yeah. Yeah, so he doesn't want to dig up her dead mom, unfortunately.
It just is what it is. Not everyone's into that. Not everyone's just, down to climb like that.
Yeah. So they're not a match made in heaven.
Oh, and she threatens him with scissors.
Does she?
Yeah. She goes on about being gaslit.
Yeah.
And kind of threatens him. Not like, I'll kill you, but just like is holding them.
Oh, because she's like screaming like, he's hurting me, get away from me, help.
Yeah, because she is just in massive decline at this point. And
the next scene is wild too.
Yeah.
When she goes back to her apartment and she's like freaking out, and then she goes to take a shower. When she comes out of the shower, she's actually at Joanne's naked.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, she's losing time. She's losing her like grip on reality, and like doesn't even know where she is, how she got there. She goes to get in the shower because she comes out of Joanne's and she's standing in Joanne's fully nude.
Yeah.
And then like wakes up or whatever and is screaming.
Yeah. And Molly Shannon is so sweet to her.
So sweet.
Like, her employee is naked in the store.
But Molly seems to have at least a vague concept of that Alison Brie's character has mental illness in her family.
Needs, yeah. And is just like, immediately goes up, wraps her in great lengths.
Yeah.
And
in the fabric that had a positive vibe or whatever. We didn't even talk about that.
Jesus. Fabrics can't have vibes.
Oh, they might.
They do. Fabrics do have vibes, I guess.
Collin begrudgingly admits that a vibe exists.
I found fucking Lindsay yesterday. Lindsay like tweaked her back and is like, hey, because Lindsay's fucking moneybags, she's like, I'm just gonna get a massage. I'm gonna see if I can get a massage somewhere today. And gets it at a place called Massage Vibes.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? You're gonna name your massage store with the word vibes?
Yeah.
Just call it Great Rubs.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so she's naked.
She's
looking great.
Yeah.
But this, I will admit, did not get horny.
No.
Because this is not a time to get horny, folks.
Not a horny part, no. Yeah, she's just like really having like a mental break, and that's where we saw in the trailer where she's like on the phone and the phone is like saying what happens like, right before it happens.
Yeah. Molly Shannon is like talking to her, but Alison Brie is hearing her on the phone
before she says in real life what she's gonna say. She's like, I'm hearing the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like Molly Shannon was really trying to like, okay, let's just like calm you down and get you home, but Alison Brie she's too far gone. Like she had to end up calling the cops or whatever.
Yeah, she needs to be put in,
yeah.
Like at this point it's like she needs to be hospitalized.
Yeah, so she does get hospitalized. And she has like a great therapist in the hospital. How do I get this guy number?
Okay, this was fucking wild because movies, I've talked about this because I've been listening back. I talk about it on Little a lot, my issue with social workers.
Yeah.
In movies.
Collin loves to pop off on social workers.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Because all he does is like, he never negates her.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a big part of social work is literally just letting people have their... Because they're only going to work with what they're willing to work with. So if someone posits something to you, you can't just be like, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
You need to do this.
People want to be heard and want to be understood, ultimately.
So ultimately, the social worker has to say, like, so I've got someone who thinks they've been abducted by aliens, so how do I help them move along in the normal world while they continue to accept this?
Yeah.
And so he does this really great... It's producer Jay Duplass in this role... And he is outstanding. And it's only like a scene, but while watching, I was like, that's how a good social worker or counselor does it, is they just listen to you and they're like, I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I famously had a first meeting with a therapist like a week ago and did not receive this amount of care, I would say. Mostly received blank stares.
I don't want to go off on counselors and social workers, but... It's not hard to do. Literally, all you have to do is listen to people and be like, I'm so sorry. And that's it. You're A+ social worker.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to be heard and told that like, their life is hard.
Yeah, so, but he seemed really nice and warm and caring and great. And he is going to be my therapist now. So when she's in the mental hospital... She, like, goes to sleep, and all the crazy stuff, is it, like, her dream? It's, like, kind of, like, now we don't know what's reality and what's a dream. It's like, we're really in her perspective on things at this point. So, like, it seems like what happens is, like, she goes to sleep and has this dream, and we're watching what's happening in her dream, where, like, she leaves the mental hospital, like, goes to rob the fabric store and take all that good vibe fabric, and makes herself a little, like, jumpsuit with, like, a full mask and everything out of this, like, posy fab. And that just came right out. And she's like running around. Her running in this like little jumpsuit is hysterical. She goes to like have sex with her boyfriend at one point, and it turns into the guy from Criminal Minds banging her.
Yeah, it just goes like...
And then he makes his own jumpsuit, and then they cover the whole house in this posy fab.
It goes off at this point.
She, in her little dream, crawls into bed with her disabled friend.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, oh, you're here, haha, and then they go to sleep in the dream. And then when she wakes up, she's in bed with the other girl, who it turns out was the girl that she's been dreaming about from the abductions. Mm-hmm. And what she gets out of this girl, I mean, because she's kind of like, why are you here? Why are you here? Do you remember me? Why are you here? And the girl is like, look, I like am from 1995, and then I went to sleep and I woke up, and now it's whatever year it is, and all the buildings are different. Nobody believes me.
Yeah. It's the first, like, confirmation of anything. Mm-hmm. That it's like, okay, something is weird.
Yeah.
And you really, it's a huge, like, chunk to bite on.
It's like a twist.
It's a good twist.
Yeah. And, like, she says in the movie, too, that, like, her grandmother, Alison Brie's grandmother, always thought she was from the future, and she had weird things with time, and nobody believed her. And so, Alison Brie maybe was always herself in her time and then got moved back in time and moved forward in time, or who knows. It's kind of like what they're positing here. And then she's like, look, I believe you. And then, wow, they're going to be like mentally healthy together, right?
Maybe. Who knows?
And she is also losing time in the hospital. Like, what the doctor was like, oh, it's your third day here. And
You're
she's
72
like,
hours, yep.
No, I've only been here one day. And he's like, okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. She has no idea she's been there for 3 days.
Yeah, and so when she gets out, she goes full granny style on him.
Wait, what do you mean full granny style?
She dresses up just like the picture. She like wears her
her
grandmother's dress. She like curls her hair and like the finger curls or whatever, and like puts on the red lipstick, dressed full granny style.
I didn't know what you meant, but yes, she does go full granny style. She does.
She goes full granny style, grabs the horse. Yeah. They go off into the woods, and she lays down on the ground and gets fully abducted into the spaceship.
Spaceship shows up and abducts her.
She's kind of like, take me. And they do take her. And it's cool, like, watching her body, like, be sucked up like that with, like, you know, the way it hangs and everything. It's, like, a cool shot.
Totally. Okay, did you ever see Safety Not Guaranteed with Aubrey Plaza and Mark
I saw it in theaters, and I would say I remember nothing about it.
That's fair. It's the same fucking style as this, though, because it's the same producer. Safety Not Guaranteed, 2011 movie with Aubrey Plaza, Mark Duplass, and the guy from New Girl. Basically, though, it's like the same thing where like there's like something supernatural potentially happening, and that's never confirmed until the last minute of the movie. Where it's just like this, where like her getting sucked up at the end is this like, even though you see it, no one else is around there, so you're still kind of left with this, did it happen? Is this her brain? Because nothing, you know, it completely breaks reality. Yeah. Or a little bit right before this with her mental breakdown. And so you're really like, despite them showing you all this, and I know I even called it a confirmation earlier, the movie never tells you what is and what isn't.
I kind of was just like, yeah, it's real and this is sick.
No, I was too. I was totally, because you want it to be.
Yeah.
So you're just like,
and
all right,
it's such aliens. A twist, because the whole movie you're just like, wow, it's kind of like sad watching this person like dive into mental illness and you know, whatever. But then you're like, oh, she was right the whole time. And that's like kind of where I get on that thought of like, when/if this stuff like does actually happen to people, how does everyone else interpret it? You know? So that's kind of where that came into play for me. Yeah,
it ruled.
Yeah.
And then roll credits.
Well, then the horse takes one manch of grass.
Okay.
And then roll credits. And I wrote a note, the soundtrack really fucks.
I don't remember the soundtrack a bit.
I think there was like an Angel Olsen track on the credits or something. But I don't know. That's what I wrote down. I loved this movie.
I did too.
I thought it was a perfect movie. It was great.
It's outstanding, and it does a great job of not letting you feel unfulfilled at the end. Yeah. Because even though there is...
I came.
Yeah, no. This movie at least gets you to completion. It's kind enough to, like, I know we kind of, tugged you around from here to there. And,
we did a rub here, a tug there.
But, we'll give it to you at the end. Even though I'm describing the ambiguity of reality with it, you still feel like at least they give you enough to, like, sit with and be like, okay, like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
So what would you rate it?
For me, it gets 4 stars.
4 stars. I think I'm gonna go 5. I don't know. I just loved this movie.
That's fine. No, I could definitely see it doesn't get that 5th star for me just because there's like, I don't know. I could use a little more with it. Yeah. I don't know. I could use a little more tie the horse thing together. Yeah.
I guess that would be like my main complaint is that the horse thing is strange.
Yeah, I could just...
Should I go down to 4.5?
No, you keep it at 5. You call it a perfect movie.
I think it is a perfect... Well, I just found it so, like... It was so entertaining to watch. All the characters were so cool and perfect. It was the right amount of, like, spooky and fun and whimsical.
Totally.
And,
what's it clocking in at? 103. That's hour 40.
Yeah.
Good runtime.
Bada bing, bada boom. And
it's great. Yeah. It's a great movie.
Thought it was great. Yeah.
You recommend people see it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go watch it. It's on Netflix.
Everybody has Netflix.
That. Yeah, everyone has Netflix. Message us if you don't have Netflix. You can have mine.
So, yeah, that's that, I guess. Do you have any more thoughts on that movie?
No, I'm good. What about you?
No.
You feel at touch with your great-grandma?
Oh, yeah, my great-grandma rising from the old grave.
Okay. We'll do a seance later.
Yeah, maybe so.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit.
So, Collin, what the frig have you been watching?
I've been watching... Lindsay and I are still watching Real Housewives of New York, which I am now pro. I like it now.
Did it get queer?
Housewives of New York?
One of the Housewives I heard was getting queer.
No. Well, we're behind. We're watching, like, seasons from 2013 right now.
Okay. Well, maybe it's queer now.
Maybe it is.
I thought it was New York, but
I hit the point in New York. Basically, with all Bravo reality shows, I hate them with a burning passion for, like, the first 2 seasons. Lindsay watches them, and I, like, to the point where I have to, like, put headphones on when she's watching because I just yell, like... I'll be like, I hope that person dies. Like, what a horrible, horrible piece of shit that character is. And then eventually I'm like, okay, they rock. Like, yeah, so I've hit that point with New York, Real Housewives of New York, that it rocks now. But beyond that, we watched Spinal Tap. I did, like, my yearly viewing of Spinal Tap, and it just holds up. That's it. It's just one of the fucking funniest movie ever. Every fucking bit hits. It's so good. Go rewatch Spinal Tap because you deserve to have fun. Mm-hmm. A la Molly Shannon. That's what I've been watching.
Yeah.
What about you?
I actually watched 2 shows that have almost exactly the same premise.
Parenthood and
no.
The Slap.
I will never watch Parenthood again. Oh my god, nightmare. The first show, I would say, hesitant to even give it the airtime, called Alone Together, which is a Hulu show. It was made by the Lonely Island guys.
Okay.
But
I love them. Wouldn't
recommend the show. Oh. Well, first of all, it has a canceled guy on it. It has Chris D'Elia.
Oh, okay.
He's
insufferable.
He's like a B character, so he's like not really like in it all the time, but he's in it.
That's a drag.
And well, I guess I should say the premise of both of these shows is kind of like a man and a woman who are best friends, but there's absolutely nothing sexual between them. They are comedians, and they are trying to get somewhere with that, I guess, is kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So in Alone Together, they're both straight people. They're just best friends. They've been best friends forever. There's no sexual thing between them. And, you know, whatever. Chaos ensues, I guess.
Sure.
But I've since, like, I was really curious about the two stars of it because never heard of them, never seen them in anything else. I was like, and their age is really ambiguous. So I was like, I can't tell how old these people are supposed to be. So I was looking them up.
Lindsay loves this Esther Pavitsky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What I found out was Esther is 32, but she looks like she's 20. And the guy cannot find his age online anywhere. Yeah. But also, he seems like a huge asshole.
Sure.
There's like interviews with Esther saying that like when they met, he was bullying her.
Cool.
Would say stuff like she would show up for an open mic and he'd be like, no, we need someone like who's actually hot to go on before you or something like this. Cool. And so yeah, and I read through his Twitter. It just seems like an asshole. And then Esther has a podcast, and I listened to an episode of it. Oh my god, it's unbearable. It's unbearable. She's so like self-centered and like only thinking about, I don't know. She just like, people think I'm like such a huge star, and I'll give you advice on, you know, everything, or you know, I don't know. Can't stand it. Very just the world revolves around her. Yeah. So anyway. Hate to recommend that show, and I don't. All right, but it is kind of like a nothing show to like throw on, and it's funny every once in a while. So the other show that I watched that has basically the same premise that came out first was Difficult People with Billy Eichner. Okay. From Billy on the Street. Yeah, it's like him and his like straight lady friend.
Oh, what's that fucking show called?
Difficult People.
Okay, I didn't hear you say it. Sorry, I was texting. Yes, I know that one.
Both shows are on Hulu. Difficult People has more shows. I think there's like 3 or 4 seasons. But it's, I would say Difficult People seems like a better show, but it's a little too smart for me. Like, they're just making reference after reference and like name dropping celebs in their jokes or whatever. Yeah. And like, I would say about 80% of it is over my head, but I still find it entertaining somehow. Hell yeah. And I think it's kind of fun. Anyway, those shows were fun. And I also watched The Wrong Missy. Have you
I got no clue what that is.
With David Spade and Lauren Lapkus.
No, do not know about that.
It's a new movie that just came out on Netflix this year.
Word Missy?
The Wrong Missy.
Wrong Missy.
Yeah. I'm sure you have to have seen at least the poster for it. Because it's like Lauren Lapkus basically giving a lap dance to
like twerking.
Yep, twerking on David Spade's lap.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how. Is it worth watching? Because like David Spade.
I know.
Is David Spade.
Yeah, and he still is David Spade, I would say.
Yeah.
It's very like, I would just say it's very generic. Like, okay, you can guess the premise just by looking at it. Probably you can guess everything that happens in the movie.
He's 56.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. David Spade, TBT, and also currently T. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty like generic, goofy. It's like, oh, I texted the wrong girl to come on a date with me, and this one's crazy, you know.
That's cool. I guess I'll watch it.
Lauren Lapkus, I think this character is like kind of perfect for her, but the character is terrible.
Oh, sure.
It's very like bad TV movie kind of vibe, but it's also just like something goofy to throw on, you know. It didn't piss me off, I guess.
There you go. That's the barometer.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I watched. Mostly bad shit.
Yeah, you ain't watched good shit at all.
Nope, no good shit. Well, I'd say Difficult People probably is a good show. I just am not smart enough for it quite.
Yes, you are. Shut up. All right, whatever.
All right, so yeah, that's what we've been watching.
Cool.
Is there freaking anything else we need to say?
I got nothing. Except that dog's back.
Ooh, there's a dog walking down the street. So, yeah, I guess, you know, follow us on all the things, man. Yeah. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Facebook, and now Twitch at ScreenVomit, one word on all the things. Give us a little rating on your app. 5 stars, baby.
Yeah, only 5-star ratings.
Only 5 stars. If you have less than that, don't
want it.
Don't do that. Subscribe on your podcast app. Send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com. Tweet us with your thoughts on this movie or other movies, suggest movies, etc. And that's all for us, baby. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.